And live from Dr. Pink Field in Frisco, Texas, USA Ultimate is proud to present the 2014 USA Ultimate National Championship and this women's final between DC Scandal and San Francisco Fury. A look at our women's bracket. Showdown yesterday between Fury and Seattle Riot, while DC Scandal knocked off the Boston Brute Squad en route to this championship game. Alongside the voice of Ultimate, Evan Lepler, I'm Wayne Randazzo, and Evan, these two teams met for the 2013 title. They're here again in 2014.
And what's surprising is that I don't think most people expected to see these two teams here. Boston Brute Squad, Seattle Riot, they were the top two seeds. They both played great through pool play, but in the semifinals, these teams that got it done last year get it done again, and there's so many fascinating wrinkles to the storylines.
And DC Scandal last year upsetting Fury's reign of 7 straight championships. How can they get it done again today?
Well, it's amazing to think if Scandal didn't win last year, then Fury would be going to its 9th straight gunning for its 9th straight championship. But DC, the reigning champs, they had somewhat of an up and down season, and I think their head coach Alex Guesquier liked the role that it put his team in. Even though they're defending champs, they felt like underdogs, and Octavia Payne was just gigantic in the semifinal game. She's such a physical, athletic player, not afraid to get dirty, and she unleashed a masterful flick huck. She's key on the D-line for Scandal.
So what about this San Francisco team? Fury trying to get back into the championship. They lost it last year. Their 7 straight titles upended. How can they win it this year?
This is a special weekend for them. Maddie Singh, who's been their coach for 9 years, stepping aside after this tournament, so they really want to win it for him. And they've been frank about how this year they've experienced challenges that have been unlike anything else in the past decade. Back at the US Open, they lost back-to-back games for the first time in Maddie's tenure, but they bounced back with a win over Scandal. In fact, the only time these two teams met in the regular season. They've got a great roster of talent. Alex Snyder banged up, she'll still play, but I really like Anna Nazaroff, how she has led the offense and the defense. The stats aren't great, but the disc has gone through her, especially on a turnover. She's taken charge. She's going to lead a group of stars for Fury today.
The women's championship is set. Can Fury get back on top? Or will DC Scandal win it for the 2nd straight year? We'll have the opening pull next, live from Frisco. The 2014 USA Ultimate Championships are brought to you by Discraft Ultrastar, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Ask your retailer today about Discraft Ultrastar. The Triple Crown Tour, America's most competitive and prestigious series of ultimate tournaments. And by USA Ultimate, the national governing body of the sport of ultimate in the United States. To learn more about USA Ultimate or to find out where to play in your area, visit usaultimate.org. All the excitement here at Dr. Pink Field for this women's championship on a beautiful day. 71 degrees, a light wind, low humidity. Couldn't ask for better weather in this national championship weekend. And for DC Scandal, trying to win their 2nd straight national championship against the team that had won the previous 7. San Francisco Fury trying to win for the 8th time in 9 years. The opening pull from Kayla Jorgensen. We are underway here in Frisco, Texas for this women's final. DC Scandal trying to get back into that promised land and beat Fury once again.
I think the big question at the outset of this game is, will Scandal be as hot as they were yesterday? Because they were on fire against Boston Brute Squad, really humbled the top seed that most people expected to be playing here on Sunday. Scandal showed that championship pedigree, and you know, Alex Guesquier reminded me before the game, this is really the first time all year they've had their top squad with everybody healthy and good to go. And they've been clicking this week, and they had some close calls, certainly in the final round of pool play against Molly Brown. That was a nail-biter.
But no nail biting on the first possession as Ashley Daly, despite a juggle, makes the catch, and DC Scandal gets that first point.
That's a good start for Washington, DC Scandal. Ashley Daly was so good yesterday, and the disc is going to run through Anne Mercier, now in her 2nd year playing for Scandal.
Ashley Daly almost lost that completely.
And you know, one of the big keys for Fury in this game, anticipating that there are going to be some turnovers. Probably Scandal's greatest strength is capitalizing on those turnovers. With Sandy Jorgensen and Octavia Payne, they love to grip it and rip it on a turn, so we'll see what the offensive line looks like for Fury as Ashley Daly playing her best ultimate of her life. Now, one of the big storylines coming into this weekend was the fact that Fury did not win the title for the first time ever last year, but in the 9th consecutive championship game ever since Matt Sang took over in 2006. It's an unbelievable run. Alex Snyder is on the field for this first 0 point for Fury. In the finals in Lecco, Italy, she dislocated her kneecap and sprained her MCL. She was in an emergency room in Italy the next day. Her knee was drained. She was in a non-removable splint for 2 weeks. This is Snyder with the disc. I chatted with her last week, and she said she didn't think she would play this weekend. She's played quite a bit. 50-50 shot, and Scandal gets the D. And this is what Matt Sang is talking about. Fury needs to match up smart. In particular, Alex Snyder, who's going to guard the handler, Allison Maddox. Snyder's not running at her best right now. See if Scandal can capitalize on it. This is Sandy Jurgensen, one of the dynamic deep threats in the game, and Octavia Payne, who's never afraid to let it rip.
Payne finds a connection in the middle of the field, and now DC Scandal looking for the early 2-0 lead. Now, Octavia Payne's had a great tournament, the leading handler for DC Scandal. As Jurgensen had to go to the ground, she was unable to make that play.
You know what's amazing, Wayne, is that a year ago, I think people thought that Scandal was an upstart team, but Fury was such a heavy favorite going into the finals last year. And this time around, even though Scandal's the lower seed, I think people might think that Fury's reign is over. And I know that line of thinking is something that the girls from San Francisco have not appreciated. In the aftermath of Worlds, as they shoot too long for Jurgensen, there were some articles published. The Fury era is over. And I know from talking firsthand to some of Fury's players, that really rubbed them the wrong way. They thought they went to the finals of the World Championship. They lost by 2, and one of their top 5 players, Alex Snyder, was injured early in that game. They played without her.
Well, it certainly is a time of change. Maddie Sang is leaving this team. This will be his last appearance for them as their head coach.
It's been an emotional weekend for him and the team. They printed out a bunch of pictures through the years. They've created a bunch of t-shirts with Maddie's face on them. Alex Snyder showing off her big flick.
Into the window, and Kimberly Beach there with the D. Amy Wickner as well. No chance for that one to fall in the hands of the intended target, Daryani. So Fury has sputtered so far in their first couple of possessions, and DC Scandal goes back to work. A flick from Lauren Sadler, and it falls in the wrong team's hands as LaRoche grabs it for Fury, but a stoppage.
Cree Howard and Sandy Jurgensen, teammates on the World Games team. Nazarov and Payne, Snyder also part of that gold medal squad. And the coaches of the U.S. World Games team, of course, Alex Guesquier, the head coach, Maddie Sang, the assistant coach, they became very close during that trek through Cali, Colombia. And I think they each learned about the other's style, because there's no question Dutchie and Maddie have very different styles. And Snyder moving well. She told me before the game she's felt more comfortable in the field every single day. A little shaky Thursday, but through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, she's moving better today than I've seen her the rest of the weekend.
Now Fury in the red zone as Cree Howard's got it in the middle. Swings it out, trying to set up Alex Snyder, who dumps it into the end zone, and a diving attempt, and Lisa Picatley makes the catch to get Fury on the board.
Lisa Picatley is a future star in this sport. You could argue she's a current star. And if Fury is going to win this game, she's going to have to be big. At times this weekend, she's been more of a distributor, one of their team leaders in assists. But after a 6 turnover point, Fury does answer to hold serve and tie at 1-1.
The assist for Alex Snyder. Good start for Fury as their offense gets rolling. These two teams both had quite a road to get here. You see Fury, who had to go through Seattle Riot in the semifinals yesterday. That was certainly not an easy one. 12-10 as number 1 and 2 seeds both lost in the semis after we had seen mostly chalk throughout the women's bracket.
It's unfortunate to see Sarah Griffith go down in that game. You know, in the 2 most high-profile meetings between Fury and Riot this year, each team lost a key cog due to injury. Alex Snyder in the finals of Worlds, Serge Griffith in the semis here at Nationals. You know, Serge Griffith, after Riot won the World Championship, was certainly in the conversation for best players in the world. He was just unstoppable in both the semifinal versus Scandal and the final versus Fury. Love watching her play. Hope she gets better and full strength soon.
Flick to the sideline, and now approaching midfield is DC Scandal, the defending national champions. That's Mercier. Gonna backhand it, and she does, but a closer throw.
It's amazing how similar Ashley Daly looks to Sandy Jurgensen making these deep cuts. She's got the blonde ponytail. You know, Jurgensen wears 37. Obviously Daly is 6, but other than that, they look very similar. Sandy's got a few inches on her, but Daly plays big.
Mercier goes underneath, and it's too far.
A strong downfield defense from Fury. First chance for the Fury break, and this is when Nazarov can take over. The pivot handler. Very great disc skills, confident, breaking the mark, and now a deep shot.
Carolyn Finney goes toward the end zone, and it's knocked away. Intended for Michaela Meister. It was Alika Johnston who punched it out.
Alika Johnston, just 20 years old, but she's already in her 2nd national title game. I believe she's just a sophomore, maybe now just starting her junior year at University of Virginia. Part of the Hydra squad that almost knocked off Oregon Fugue in the quarters in Cincinnati this past May.
That was a low throw. And now Fury will have it right on the goal line after DC Scandal turns it over deep in their own territory.
One thing I've noticed this weekend watching Fury, you know, Matty Sang has always had his own unique style. He's walking on the near sideline right now, away from the play. But he has been much more vocally active this weekend than I can remember him in the past.
And get it out of his system.
Well, you know, it's been a challenging year for him because they sort of redefined his role going into the season, shifted a few responsibilities. He still watches more film than anyone I know, says Alex Snyder. Alex also said that she thinks that Matty, everybody knows Matty for his people skills, and there's the first break. And Alex Snyder able to find Alden Fletcher in the end zone. Says that everybody knows the personality and the people skills, but she said that his knowledge of the game is often overlooked. And coming into this game, wanted to make sure they were ready to match up on turnovers. And they use the middle of the field better than anybody. Alex Guesquier's game plan was to try to force them to the sidelines whenever they can. Snyder still in the conversation for best handlers in the world.
And Fury with the last 2 points, leading for the first time in this women's championship game, trying to win their 8th title in 9 years, their 10th overall. This dynasty started when Manny Sang took over in 2006. They also won a national championship in 1999. In 2003 as well. Only Boston Lady Godiva has won as many as this Fury team, and Fury can get above that number today. Santa Barbara Lady Condors on there. One of the initial great teams in the sport of ultimate, the Santa Barbara Condors in the men's division. The men's final coming up later between Denver Johnny Bravo and Boston Ironside. DC Scandal trying to answer after Fury has scored the last two.
Sarah Ito, her catch between two defenders in the end zone against Molly Brown on Thursday. Still one of the great plays I've seen all weekend, going up over two Denver, Colorado defenders. Ito, a very active cutter, currently being marked by Lauren Kanemaru.
Alika Johnston looks end zone, has an open teammate, and a stumbling catch made in the end zone by Alicia White.
Alika Johnston with a poise about her that certainly belies her years. And great vision to see that coming. And for the other Scandal cutters deeper in the stack to come in. Everyone else came in, just narrowly got it over Kanemaru. And an in-control catch from White.
Alicia White out of Westlake Village, California.
Used to play for Fury.
We take a look at how DC Scandal got to this point, knocking off the #1 seed from Boston yesterday. The Brute Squad going down. Pool D undefeated. Beat Vancouver Traffic in the quarterfinals. Great tournament for DC Scandal, just like last year. Maybe not seeded quite as high as they wanted to be, but coming in here and taking care of business. Octavia Payne with the pull for DC Scandal. This will be a flight here today. These two teams on opposite ends of the country, but they've battled for titles before. Don't have to be neighbors to be rivals. And a great play there by Kimberly Beach.
Excellent run through D.
She was also wide open in the end zone, but nobody saw her, and Payne on a pass intended for Granville turns it over.
Pitt Caithley's doing work cutting right now. Excellent fake deep underneath. She's really developed her throws. All-around offensive player for Fury.
If somebody who's seen Beach break downfield after that D, would have been a point for Scandal. Instead, Fury's got it back now. Nice backhand toss for Dre Romano. These two teams feeling each other out early. We've seen some mistakes on both sides. A tight battle. Jana Hamaker, the head observer. Dan Lorilla, Steve Wong, and Julie Morris.
Disc will stay with Pitt Caithley.
Pitt Caithley turns it to the sideline. Nice grab, but not able to stay in bounds was Kirsty Bowen. Now DC Scandal chucking it deep. Allison Maddox too short for Beach.
Snyder's moving better today than she has all weekend long.
Has to pace herself for this final game as Snyder whips it deep. Looking for Pitt Caithley, a defender down, and Pitt Caithley trying to go over 2 white jerseys. Unable to make that catch. See if a foul is called.
You know, if this were a football game, I think this would be offsetting penalties. Let's do it again. I think Pitt-Caithley may have gotten away with a push off, and then she might have gotten drilled. And it looks like she made that disc stop rotation in her left hand, but they're going to say no foul, and Scandal will pick up. Look at this left-handed grab, though, by Pitt-Caithley for the moment.
Yeah, looked like it was just hit out of her hand there at the end. Good defense at the end of that play.
Well, good defense, but that's not all that legal.
Octavia Payne fires it deep. 2 teammates there, including Kimberly Beach, who settles under it for the score. The 41-year-old veteran who was instrumental in the semifinal win yesterday. Beach on the board here.
Kimberly Beach, 41 years old, playing like she's 21. Remarkable energy, remarkable passion from the veteran.
She's a fire engine.
He really is, never runs out of fuel. So we're back on serve. Fury got 1 break. Scandal responded on its 0 point.
Look at the tournament. Payne's had 19 assists, the leading handler for DC Scandal. And Scandal back on top.
Tied for the most in the tournament in the assist category. Yesterday, Scandal hit every one of the points on their game plan. Alex Gesquier said. Quite a fall for Alex and his girlfriend, Kath Ratcliffe. They just gave birth to their first child. In the words of Dutchie, the cutest baby ever, born September 17th. He's over there on the sidelines. They have not lost a game since Zavi has been born.
Good luck charm and trying to keep that streak alive here today. Give them a 2nd straight national championship. You really have to respect what Fury has done. You know, their title reign ended last year. This is their 9th straight appearance in the championship game.
Nazaroff directing traffic, patient to avoid the poaching defender with Mercier. I beg your pardon, it was O'Connor.
A flick downfield and an open target as the catch was made. And now V.Y. Chow looking to bust it in as she taps it back to Desmond. There, Desmond looking for a teammate, finds one. And now it's Carolyn Finney who slings it toward the goal line. To finish it up, Claire Desmond to the end zone. And the catch made by Anna Nazarov as Fury ties the game.
Mad Dog Nazarov sold this cut to the open side and then broke back to the break side and avoiding the layout bid of her former national team teammate, Opie Payne. Whew. Heck of a layout bid from Payne. Nazarov attacked the disc and able to hold on. Her nickname's Mad Dog. She's typically a pretty calming presence for her team, but plays the game with a competitive fire. Won the Callahan Award as a senior at UCLA. And certainly one of the glue gals on this Fury team. You know, over the course of this season, they've had their ups and downs. Very competitive teammate.
past champions list, all Fury from 06 through 2012. It was Scandal who broke that streak last year, trying to get their own streak going in the championship this year. Pool goes out of bounds, so Scandal will take it from the brick mark. Frisco hosting this tournament for the second straight year. It's been a beautiful day, beautiful weekend here in Texas. Baby's enjoying it.
There's Kath Ratcliffe, number 13. She actually played a few points this weekend, less than a month after giving birth.
That's really incredibly hard to believe, but a remarkable story nonetheless. Mercier's got it, one of the leading handlers along with Payne. Give it right back to Mercier, now a low throw, and Scandal turns it over. Rare mistake we've seen from Scandal. Looking around that cup of defenders. Now Fury with a chance to go back on top. Near the goal line goes Fury. Now Ryan.
Great sequence of fakes, drew that foul, and with the spacing not exactly what Fury would like here, this should allow Narayan to get a fresh stall count. Should be looking for a dump swing, perhaps.
Lakshmi Narayan. A chance to put Fury on top here in this 3-3 tie. First team to 8 since this game to halftime. Narayan with a hammer throw to the back corner.
What a throw.
And a completion for the point to Lauren Casey.
That was phenomenal. And Narayan realizing how everybody was bunched up on the near side of the field, especially the defense. She realized that there was space in the far corner of the end zone. When it comes down to it, ultimate is a game of space. And who can create the best space and convert.
Just a great throw by Narayan, flattened out at the perfect time.
And then there's the challenge of learning how to throw like that. And in a pressure-packed situation like this, the championship game of nationals, there's not a stiff breeze, but there's a little bit of wind down there. San Francisco still up a break.
A 4-3 lead for Fury. Again, first to 8 sends it to halftime. First to 15. Here comes the national champion. As Kayla Jorgensen will set this one in the air for Fury.
Offsides called.
Call we don't see very often. The offsides on the pull.
Defensive line here for Fury features Cody Fong, Castle Sinacrope, Kayla Jorgensen, Anna Nazaroff, Claire Desmond, Carolyn Finney, and also Liz Duffy.
DC Scandal will take it off the pull. Assuming they catch it, we saw a drop pull in the semifinal yesterday that helped DC Scandal in their win over Boston Brute Squad. It's Jesse O'Connor rather. Now O'Connor gets it back from Alika Johnston. Those two playing catch for the moment. Whiz it over to the near side of the field where Amy Hudson waits. And Hudson turns it over as Liz Duffy came through to knock that one away.
The throw just a little bit too far ahead allows Duffy a chance to make the play.
Now Fury looking for the first 2-goal lead of the game, and they've got it. It's Liz Duffy who gets the point.
This was created by Nazaroff, though. She cut up line off the turn. Great quickness from Anna. And then a quick flick fake. Backhand to the end zone. The backhand fake to the flick side. And a little mini S-cut there for the Fury score.
Fifth different Fury player to score today.
Duffy, one of the newcomers on Fury, previously played in Seattle, played in Atlanta.
That's one thing about Fury, when they get newcomers, they're not new to the sport, they're not new to this level, they're just from another team that's almost just as good.
Well, and they're probably already stars, because you got to be really, really good to become a rookie on this team with the established talent that Fury brings back every year in the Maddie Sang system that has become such a powerhouse in terms of strategy and team-wide ethos. Now this year's strategy has been a team effort. Fury has an 8-person strategy group that meets every other week.
We talk about the exit of Maddie Sang, who is leaving Fury at the end of this year. Who are some candidates to replace him?
You know, they wouldn't share any names. I know they've started conversations with some people. They've been thinking about it. On the one hand, it's a great job because you have so much talent. On the other, you know, you don't ever want to come on stage after the Beatles performed. You know, I mean, following Maddie Sang is like taking the stage after Paul McCartney.
Well, I remember when the Chicago Bulls replaced Phil Jackson with Tim Floyd.
Ha!
And that did not work out so well. So it certainly is important to find that next head coach and continue the tradition. Maddie Sang is...
There's certainly a ton of great ultimate thinkers in the Bay Area. So, you know, in terms of having an impressive list of candidates, it'll be interesting to see how that transpires. Maddie's not going anywhere. He'll be around for advice, but he just won't be attending every practice, going to every tournament, and being sort of the emotional fulcrum. You know, it's funny, I was walking over the fields last couple days, and Maddie was carrying an empty cardboard box, and on the side of the box was writing. He writes the game plan down on the box, and they have a different box for every tournament. I asked him when I saw him before the game today, where's the box? He says, it's back at our team house. We had our strategy talk this morning.
So far, so good for Fury, a 5-3 lead. Scandal with a nice catch there to keep this possession alive. Ashley Daly. Waiting for someone to chuck it in her direction again. It's Mercier now. There's Daly with a catch. Collision near the disc.
Good to see Kanemaru pop back up.
Yeah, and Mercier took her down.
Right side of your screen, Mercier gave a little shoulder.
Now Ashley Daly. Gonna swing it upfield, dumps it off. As Mercier chucks it back. Scandal could use a point here, down 2. Mercier's in the middle. Waiting for something to open up in front of her. Finally finds Sarah Ito. Mercier cut up the sideline, but Ito didn't see her. Instead, it's a circus catch to keep the possession alive. Alicia White laying out. And now going for the end zone. Can White get to this one? No, she cannot.
Kayla Jorgensen Tremendous hustle. Kayla and Sandy not related, but both teams Jorgensen among the top defenders in the world.
A battle for the disc, and it was Jorgensen who pushed it away. Now Fury already leading by 2. A chance for a 3-goal lead as the hometown girl Jorgensen makes the play. UC Santa Barbara.
She'll take a sub for an injury.
Probably knocked the wind out of herself with that dive. Former Lady Condor. Now the possession begins for San Francisco with Kanemaru. Looking to get up to the front of the goal line.
There's a huge defensive possession here for Scandal, already down a couple of breaks.
Nice job there by Casey, but as she tried to break away, Daly got hit.
Yeah, she took a foot to the back of the head, it looked like. Ouch.
Ooh. There was a knee to the back of the head.
That'll leave a mark.
Daly comes off. Just to get her bearings again. As Fury will begin this possession after that brief injury. Catch there by Maggie Rudin. Sending it back to Kanemaru, now Rudin again. Fury has scored the last 2 points.
You can see the basic tenets, the horizontal stack for Fury. And just a uncharacteristic mistake from the 7-time-in-a-row champions.
Ooh, it's Arlie Sang. They let that one hit the turf.
Arlie didn't play in the semis yesterday. Had heat stroke before the game. Feeling better today, giving it a go. Now she has the task of guarding Opie Payne, but they forced it up line and basically hand another possession to Fury as Alicia Dansker comes up with the easy deflection.
First team to 8 sends this one to halftime. These two teams battling for position early. Scandal could use this point. It's Fury with possession right now and a timeout taken by San Francisco. The 2 timeouts per half. So Fury uses their first. 5-3 lead for Fury over Scandal. First half in this women's championship game as Fury looks to win for the 10th time in franchise history. Their 8th in the last 9 years. We talked about Matty Sang and what he's trying to accomplish. All 9 of his years as head coach have brought his team to the championship game.
You know, you go back to 2004, 2005, before Matty came on board. Fury always had a ton of talent, but often were unable to put it together. That was the reign of Boston, Lady Godiva, Riot. Had some great teams. And when Matty Sang came on board and instituted his philosophies, a very positive and team-oriented environment. Here comes the 7th break chance for Fury here in the first half. They're 3 of 6 in break chances so far, and you know, I was a little concerned coming into this game, Wayne, because sometimes you see a team in the semifinals clicking on all cylinders, and it's almost like they peaked the one day before they needed to. That was the case with the Central Florida men's team. College Championships 2013, they just were on fire against Carleton. Couldn't replicate that against Pittsburgh the next day.
Kanemaru's got it for Fury.
What was amazing last year at Nationals was Scandal was able to duplicate it, beating Riot in the semis and then Fury in the finals.
Turnover deep in their own end. DC Scandal set up to score. Jesse O'Connor's got it. Now Octavia Payne just throws it up into the end zone. Kind of a lost possession there. Payne seemed frustrated before she even threw that disc. The only one near this one is Alika Johnston. And a quick turnover back the other way. Both of these teams look a little out of sorts at the moment. Wide open in the end zone, no throw. Now with it, Sarah Ito. Give to Allison Maddox and a stoppage. And a pick called to reset this play. Payne with Arlie Sang forcing the pressure, and the disc falls to the turf. Foul called against Sang, no contest there. Payne with the backhand up to Johnston. Swung back to Maddox. Dumped to Octavia Payne. Now Mercier. Payne swings it to the sideline of the end zone, and it's caught by Alicia White. Couple of goals for White today, and Scandal back within one.
Can't overstate the importance of getting that point for Scandal. Looked like it was to the short side, up line cutter, Allison Maddox, but in fact, all along it was Alicia White's disc. And the former Fury standout continues to make an impact against her old team.
2 goals for White, 5-4 now. White, a California native.
And Opie Payne picks up her 20th assist of the tournament. She's #1 now in that category. You know, it's been funny. One of the reasons I feel like DC hasn't gotten into his rhythm so far is because the D-line hasn't had as many chances. You know, Fury sort of threw the first punch, got a few breaks, and when Fury breaks, it's the offensive line that goes out there. Scandal's best weapon is its defensive intensity and then capitalizing on the turnover quickly with Payne and Jorgensen.
This team still with 1 timeout remaining in this first half as Payne will pull.
Really good pull.
All the way to the goal line to start it off for Fury. Alden Fletcher in the middle of the field. Swings it back to the near side for Cree Howard. Nice grab on the run by Snyder. Around Payne, she gets it in to Howard again. And now on the far side of the field, Fury moving the disc. Fletcher. A red zone chance now. Back out to Finney. Patience of the furious Cree Howard slams it into Finney. Finney looking for a cut, looking for a point, and there it is. Cree Howard with the goal for San Francisco. 6 different Fury member to score, and a 6-4 lead.
Oh, it's interesting how Payne ended up on Snyder that possession. Maybe thinking that if they could take Snyder out of the possession, it would disrupt the Fury offense. You know, Payne certainly at this stage more athletic than Snyder, but I'd like to see Payne on a downfield cutter. Cree Howard, 6 different member of the San Francisco team to score. They're 6 for 6 in the red zone, taking care of business. There's the head coach, Matty Sang. Been lucky to coach a lot of great players. And after they beat Riot yesterday, he talked about how every player he's coached and every player he's coached against has helped make him the coach he is. He told the gals on Riot that he feels like he's coached every one of them because he's watched so much film of every one of them. Over the years, he's gotten to become very familiar with Riot, obviously the biggest rival for Fury. It was emotional after the game yesterday. Maddie talking in the Spirit Circle, and then Gwen Ambler, who's also thought to be on the verge of retirement from the elite level of competition. Former Fury captain, current Riot captain, multi-time club champion, World Games gold medalist, and just a pioneer in the sport of women's ultimate. And even if Gwen's not playing, I'm sure she'll still be around, helping to grow the women's game. Big put here from Mercier, looking for Jurgensen. Wow, great defense.
Now the battle for positioning down low as Ashley Daly tried to get around Fletcher. No chance there as Fletcher held the D.
It's the second time I've thought Daly was Jurgensen. My apologies.
Laying out, but unable to make that catch. Right at the tip of her fingers. Great effort by Christy Bowen. Possession begins for Fury already. With a 2-goal lead, rather for Scandal, as Fury has a 2-goal lead. Nice catch there by Daly to save it. Scandal played a great semifinal yesterday. They've had a battle in the first half of this one with Fury. Ashley Daly's been a big part of it. Scandal looks for the point in the corner of the end zone.
There's a call behind the play here. This is going to come back regardless of what happened.
What happened was Sarah Ito collided in a vicious way with Carolyn Finney, and Finney seems okay. Looks like this disc will go back as Finney made the D in the end zone, but all that struggle for naught in this non-contact sport where we sometimes see a very great deal of contact. Already one major injury today as Daly got kneed in the back of the head. She's back in there now. See, no physical contacts actually allowed. It'll be interesting to see in the men's final if Stanley Peterson plays after the injury he suffered for Johnny Bravo last night. This is earlier when Daly got hit.
Try telling her
right to the back of the head there.
I don't think we should show her this graphic.
No physical contact allowed. There's a knee to the head. This can be at times a very physical sport. It's certainly a physically demanding sport.
Mercier.
Diving catch there by Mercier. Alika Johnston setting up this offense for DC Scandal. Primary point handler for Scandal on this drive. She sends it back to Mercier.
Crafty little switch there. Fong and Nazaroff switched handlers, and now Nazaroff on the bigger Mercier.
Mercier flicks it to Daly. Ashley Daly's had a great weekend. Timeout call. Daly called a foul. She'll get it back. Daly being forced from the side by Fletcher. Gets it out. Now Mercier. Flanked by Nazarov. Mercier sends it to the sideline and into the end zone. Alika Johnston handles the point for Scandal. And back to a one-point game.
You could hear the Fury defenders yelling, "Mad Dog inside, Mad Dog inside." They didn't want her to allow the IO flick. She did a nice job on the mark, but a good cut from Johnston from the handler spot to the open space and the open side. So, you know, it kind of feels like Fury has played a better half here, and they have.
Scandal's in it.
But they're absolutely in it. San Francisco still up a couple breaks.
First goal for Johnston today. This has been a hard-fought match. Sometimes when you see a low score in the first half, it's either because there's wind and teams just can't get going offensively, or because it's a defensive struggle. We've seen both defenses really play well in this first half. Octavia Payne will pull it for Scandal.
With O'Connor and Maddox and Beach and Jorgensen, along with Davis. And of course, Amy Wickner defending as well on the mark.
It was Dariani who called a foul on Wickner.
You know, it's truly amazing that Alex Snyder is basically playing every offensive point in this game. Just a week ago, she said she thought she'd be more of a liability than a reliable contributor, but she has been a very reliable contributor. This one sails wide of the end zone, and DC will have a chance to get a break back.
Great effort by LaRoche. Got pretty close to that backhand hook to the end zone.
Maddox is going to pick up, the only lefty on the team for Scandal.
Scandal can tie here. Snyder will play defense. And a hook on the first throw, looking for Jurgensen. She's got it. Now Kimberly Beach sends it back to Jurgensen. Red zone chance for Scandal, looking for the tie.
Of course, Sandy, another lefty.
And they burn it in to Octavia Payne as DC Scandal draws back to even.
Aside from the first point of this game, when the offensive line led by Mercier just worked it down the field like clockwork, this was the best point for Scandal. Maddox, Jurgensen, Maddox, and Payne. If you're Alex Gesquier, those are the three that you want touching the disc more than any on this line. Now, despite the tie score, San Francisco still up a break. San Francisco's receiving. San Francisco will also receive to start the second half. So San Francisco with a slight edge, but certainly Scandal with momentum. And they feed from the defensive pressure.
Back-to-back points have tied this game. Quite a battle between two teams that might have arrows pointing in different directions. Fury, 7 straight championships, ended last year by Scandal. These two meet again for the national championship. See in the women's division how many times Fury has won. Only Boston Lady Godiva has won as many. Fury trying to stand alone with a record 10th national title. Had already had it if it wasn't for DC Scandal. Trying to exact revenge for last year's upset. Carolyn Finney wanted to huck it. Dumps it off instead, gets it right back. Now Finney will slam it downfield, and a completion to Chow.
It's a nice throw by Finney. She's in control of this point for Fury. Now Dre Romano needs to clear out here. Her defender Mercier clogging up the open side. Or you can just break the mark like that. And again, wow.
Great catch by Maggie Rudin. Tiptoes down along the sideline, and Fury back on top.
Whenever you're at Nationals, you can expect Maggie Rudin to make plays like this. I guess you don't need to clear out the open side if you've got these break throws. A couple low release flicks, and then knowing that she's near the sideline, tremendous awareness of her surroundings. First point of contact, inbound, you only need 1 foot. Maggie Rudin keeps San Francisco up a break.
Dragging both feet down as Maggie Rudin makes that catch. Great catch by Rudin. It's Fury back in the lead. First team to 8. Sends this game to halftime. We've talked about it throughout this tournament, how the soft cap comes into play as we're about a half hour from that, including a 10-minute halftime and a timeout here.
And Fury takes the timeout, giving the D-line a chance to rest up. A break here would be a 3-break. That would be a 2-break lead going into the half. And they do get the disc to start the second. You know, Scandal in quarterfinals was down 4 breaks in the first half against Traffic before coming back to win as Traffic fell apart down the stretch.
7 players on each side in this game of Ultimate. First team to 15 wins. We'll talk about the soft cap again in a moment. First team to 8 sends it to halftime. Disc can go anywhere. Can't run with it though. And you have 10 seconds to get rid of it. Self-officiated game until the orange-shirted observers step in to resolve disputes. The soft cap could limit the score to less than 15, and we could see that in a game like this when you look at the clock potentially becoming a factor.
There's Kath Ratcliffe, and see the tip of Xavi's head. Xavi Gesquier, born just over a month ago. Yesterday when Alex Gesquier went to the pregame meeting with the coach of Brute Squad and the USA Ultimate staff, he was carrying his baby in his arms.
DC Scandal to begin this possession, looking for a tie. Mercier being forced from the side as she gets it ahead to Ashley Daly. Couple of fake flicks and now a backhand instead as Mercier has to lay out for it. Scandal looking for the tie. This one will come back. Finney with the defense on Mercier. Dumps it ahead into the end zone for a touch, for a score. Jamie O'Connor ties it up for Scandal.
So we've got a point to go to half coming up. Nazaroff bid on the dump, and Mercier able to take her up line. O'Connor in the end zone from Mercier.
Talks about how much Daly and Jurgensen look alike. Look at these two. Brown-haired ponytails out the visors. The high numbers, Mercier 89, O'Connor 91.
And the incredible thing about Alex Gesquier and Maddie Sang is it just doesn't seem like either one really knows how to lose. You know, once you figure out how to win, you want to get back to that victory circle so much more. And Alex Gesquier in the men's game played for the Bay Area teams, Jam and Revolver, also played for Dog back in the day. Like college ultimate in the Northeast at Dartmouth. And then last year, helped coach Scandal for the first time, led them to their first title. Octavia Payne with a pull. Maddie's saying he's not done coaching ultimate, he's just done coaching at the highest level. He's not giving up on his middle school coaching yet.
A collision. It's the last thing Snyder needed. As she goes into it with Allison Maddox. See it again.
Ooh, God.
Kind of took out the other leg. Snyder's got the left knee brace on. That was the right leg that felt the brunt of that. Maddox just came barreling right into Snyder from behind.
Alex again dislocated the kneecap, sprained her MCL, but fortunately no tears of anything in that World Championship final in Lecco. She had no physical activity until about 2 weeks ago. The fact that she's on the field in the finals and continuing to stroll around. Maddie Sang said to me before the game, if you saw her walk up and down stairs, there's no way you think she'd be able to play ultimate.
So this turf here at Frisco at Dr. Pink Field. A neat field turf here.
She got hurt in Nationals just sort of stepping out to her right, throwing a forehand. It was her left knee that twisted, but did not need immediate surgery, which kept her season alive. I'd be surprised. After all she's been through, we don't see her back out there in the second half. Ooh, Pitt
A juggle there as
She-
Pitt Caithley couldn't hang on.
She took her eye off the disc to look at her feet for just a split second. A catch she usually makes. She did have the room, but she took her eye off it.
Octavia Payne now. Flings it upfield and finds Jurgensen. The lefty flick from Jurgensen. Payne tracks it down short of the goal line. Scandal can send this game to halftime. And they do. Third goal for Alicia White. Scandal hasn't led since they're up 1-0. But it's an 8-7 advantage at halftime for the defending champions.
Oh, we're back on serve, Wayne. A virtual tie at the break. Fury's going to get the disc to start the second half. The most impressive throw on that point was this one right here from Sandy Jurgensen. I thought she might have led Payne by too much, but great finesse on that put to the brink of the end zone. And then Payne, a quick pivot and a little flick, little backhand flip. That's one thing about an Alex Gesquier coach team. Sometimes they play their best when you think they would be rattled. And I think that comes from the head coach, his style, his demeanor. You know, they were down 10-6 to Molly Brown in pool play. They were down 4 breaks at one point against Traffic. And that's when they bring the intensity together. And for Fury, certainly a missed opportunity. They had a chance to take half 8-6 and getting the disc. And instead, DC able to close the half strong.
A 5-2 run to end the first half for Scandal. And an 8-7 lead over Fury as we bring in the head coach of the San Francisco squad, Maddie Sang, in his very final game. And when do you start to have the reminiscing go on before this one's over?
Not before this one's over. Probably sometime tonight.
Maddie, in that first half, you guys obviously got off to a pretty good start. What did you see from your team? What'd you like?
I liked our defensive intensity. I thought we matched up really well, and even when they scored, they were scoring in the way that we wanted them to.
Alex Snyder has taken a beating this season. She walked off the field under her power. You think we'll see her in the second half?
You never know. We'll see how that turns out.
What are you going to say to the team at halftime here?
I think for us right now, we need to be a little bit better when we turn it over, right? They scored and broke us a couple times, and then our offense needs to clean up and use the whole field.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Maddie
Maddie.
Sang in his final game with San Francisco Fury. They trail at halftime against DC Scandal. An 8-7 lead in this rematch of last year's championship. Defending champs are on top here in Frisco. The 2014 USA Ultimate Championships are brought to you by Discraft Ultrastar, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Ask your retailer today about Discraft Ultrastar. The Triple Crown Tour, America's most competitive and prestigious series of ultimate tournaments. And by USA Ultimate, the national governing body of the sport of ultimate in the United States. To learn more about USA Ultimate or to find out where to play in your area, visit usaultimate.org. DC Scandal has the lead over Fury 8-7 at halftime as we talk to the head coach of the DC club, Alex Gesquier. And Coach, great end to that first half for your guys. For your girls, 5-2 run there to end the half. What started to click for you?
Oh yeah, we really need to accept the fact that this is going to be a gritty, 1 yard at a time kind of game. You know, we can't get frustrated by the fact that our big cutting lanes aren't there anymore. Fury's doing a great job of clogging it up, and we just got to accept and play 1 yard at a time with quick handler movement, with going side to side. If we could do that successfully, we'll keep scoring.
How do you feel your intensity was early in this half?
I thought it was good. We might have been a little too high. I think I felt like we had a little bit of the jitters on our first couple of possessions.
And, you guys trying to go back to back. You talked to me last week about how you felt like an underdog coming into this tournament. Why?
It's more fun to be the underdog. I mean, you can see our season, right? We hadn't put together a strong season. We hadn't put our whole team together. Our offense hadn't clicked very well. But, we knew we would be a work in progress this weekend, and we were building every game a little stronger, a little better until today.
Last thing, at what point in this game do we start to see your stars like Opie and Sandy going both ways?
You'll start seeing it pretty soon. We'll need every point from here on out. I mean, we're playing our best seven. Like that point was a good example.
Thanks, Dutchie.
Cheers.
Alex Gesquier, the head coach of DC Scandal. They've got the lead 8-7 over San Francisco Fury. Scandal tries to win their second straight championship and really show a bit of dominance over this Fury club that dominated the women's division for so long. 7 straight titles from 2006 through 2012, and really a great first half that we saw. Should be a great finish.
Yeah, there's a couple different camps of thought. One is that people are tired of Fury because it's been the same team over and over again. I think there's some merit to that, but personally, greatness is entertaining. When you see dynasties like that, the ability to maintain excellence over the course of a long period of time, I think that's pretty special. As we'll jump into these first half highlights in a moment.
Sounds like you root for the Patriots.
Well, I rooted for the Patriots for the first 15 years of my life when they never won more than 5 games in a season, too. The past 15 years have been fun, though. Ashley Daly's been a tremendous deep threat. They moved her from D to O to make her into a deep cutter. And again in the end zone, Alicia White with a big first half, the former Fury standout. White once again. And then Alex Snyder, hopefully she'll get back out there for the second half. Into the end zone, great layout bid there from it was Duffy, and then Nazaroff in the end zone, and the hammer over the top from Narayan into the hands of Finney.
First half that saw some great plays on each side as Fury really spread it out. All of their goals from 7 different players. Claire Desmond had a couple of assists in that first half. So did Alex Snyder. We'll see if we see her in the second half. Alicia White, the top goal scorer in this game with 3. Octavia Payne, 3 assists. Mercier with 2 for DC Scandal, trying to win their second straight championship. Now, we talked about it a little in the first half. The soft cap clock is at 17.5 minutes. So you'll figure at some point here that will go off without these teams getting close to 15. You talked about it yesterday, how in a situation like this, a championship game, they really should be allowed to play as up until that final score.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about some possible rule changes for Ultimate, you know, right now the soft cap goes on after 125. I think the soft cap should go on after 2 hours. You know, you give teams a chance to get there, and then there's no hard cap. So you put the soft cap on, and then you play to that number. If it's 10-9 when the soft cap goes on, it's a game to 12, and obviously that'll be a pretty long game. But you want the players in the field to decide it, unless you go to an always timed, you know, if you want to say the game is an hour and 25 minutes, that's one thing, and you're not playing to a certain number. But in this instance, when traditionally Ultimate has been to 13 or 15 or 17 or 21, you want to let the winning team get the final score, and you want to give the trailing team an opportunity to make a comeback.
Good battle between these two early in the first half. DC Scandal fell behind 5-3. 5-2 run. There you can see the soft cap clock running. Even through halftime, it doesn't stop ever.
Alex
now
Snyder.
16 minutes from that cap to go off.
Alex Snyder standing on the line. She is going to be back out there. And a pretty strong line. Claire Desmond, Maggie Rudin, Kayla Jorgensen, Carolyn Finney, Anna Nazaroff. Along with Snyder and I believe VY Chow. This is probably the three best players from their primary D-line stepping into the offensive zone. Scandal countering with Payne, Jorgensen, Grunwald, O'Connor, Maddox, Lauren Sadler.
Second half begins with Fury in possession. DC Scandal, champions in 2013. San Francisco Fury, champions every year from 2006 through 2012. They met in the title game last year. Fury looking for, at that point, their 8th in a row, and they were denied by Scandal. A rematch of last year's championship game and a great battle to start.
Anna Nazaroff ran Opie Payne through a pick. So this is coming back, and Anna retreats back to the position where the pick was called. She's still got a few steps on Payne downfield.
Go Scandal!
It should be quite a finish, especially as the soft cap goes off in 14 minutes. Will limit the final score of this game. Could be a game to even 12 or 13 at that point. We'll see how it unfolds. Long point here, could be a game to 11, who knows? We've seen some collisions in this one. Nazaroff dumps it back to Snyder. She took a hard fall at the end of the first half, but still in there as Claire Desmond gets around Jurgensen to make that catch. Snyder whips it back out to Finney. Mentioned the two-way players seeing a lot of minutes in the end as Snyder goes deep and finds her target. A sliding grab by VY Chow. And we're back to even here in Frisco.
Right on serve, Alex Snyder looks to be healthy, and finding VY Chow, who's done a ton in the women's game. Brute Squad in the past, former Team Canada player, one of the three quote-unquote rookies on this Fury team, but certainly great experience on a stage like this.
Snyder, I don't know how healthy she is, but she's healthy enough to be out there. as VY Chow becomes the 8th different Fury member to score a goal. And they have the type of offense where if they make it to 15, they could have 15 different players get them.
And the women's division, here's your Pro Flight qualifiers for 2015. The 4 semifinalists, Fury, Scandal, Riot, and Brute. And then the quarterfinal losers battle with the pre-quarters losers in the backdoor bracket. The notable team absent, Denver Molly Brown, that very nearly was in the semifinals. Nearly beat Scandal in pool play, nearly beat Fury in the quarters, although Fury closed out that second half strong.
6 ties and 4 lead changes out of 16 points. This has been a championship game. And a great championship play by Fury. Liz Duffy with the D. Pick is called. That will send the disc back.
All right, ladies, do you want to send it back or send it to me?
Observer trying to determine what to do next. As Orion talks it over with Amy Hudson.
Oh, yeah. So that's the pick. It's going to stay there. Yeah. Hey, Dan, on one.
Send it back, and Fury will resume this possession. All tied up. National championship game is even. These two teams have really played an even game. The score indicative of how this has gone so far.
That's Fajardo, one of the captains for Fury.
Just back and forth, right up to the goal line. Not much pressure there from Scandal. Orion sends it back to Finney. Right on the edge of the goal line again. Orion flips it in, and a great catch. Sliding along the edge of the sideline, Ness Fajardo to put Fury back on top.
The best teams, when there's some clogged space, can get out of it in a real easy way. And the 3 handlers over there, Narayan, Fajardo, and also Arlie Sang, able to create space when it didn't look like there was very much available. And that is a break.
San Francisco Fury, champions in 1999, 2003, and then the 7-year run. As Fajardo becomes the 9th different player to score. I mentioned that they could go with a different player scoring the entire game. And they have to this point. They're also 8 for 8 in the red zone.
And that is a key stat right there. When you get it down to the goal line, it's a tighter area. You don't have as much space to work with. Scandal's defense really can tighten up. Fury is taking care of business. Anna Nazaroff to pull. She's back on this D-line with Narayan and Fong. Christy Bowen, small, feisty, and fast defender.
Nice cut to the middle of the field by Alika Johnston. Gives it right back to Octavia Payne. Alicia White's had a huge game. 3 goals for Scandal. Now Payne again. Serves it back to Jurgensen. Mercier gets involved on this possession of White. 2 titans in the women's division battling for the championship. A rematch of last year's title game. Scandal pulling off probably one of the greatest upsets in women's championship game history last year. Fury looking for its 8th consecutive title, but Fury back try to reclaim its crown in Maddie Sang's last game as head coach. Mercier along the sideline. Scandal conservative on this possession. As Payne splits two defenders to keep this going. A few steps forward and a few back for Scandal. Trying to push it upfield. Trying to tie this one again. Mercier fakes a backhand, sends it backward. Fury's defense holding strong and trying to force one in. Fury holds the possession. The final D there by Michaela Meister.
The end zone cutting downfield for Scandal became somewhat stagnant in that situation. Nazaroff again directing traffic with her left hand and a right-handed flick on the money. Easy 35 yards up the field. Fury, like most good teams, not afraid to lose yardage in a dump swing.
This game hasn't had much distance between the two. A two-goal lead at this juncture could seem like a giant hole for Scandal to climb out of. Nice grab on the run at the edge of the goal line. And Fury trying to force it in, but it falls to the turf. Despite a diving attempt by Bowen. Fury doesn't score, so now Scandal will get it back with a chance to tie it once again.
Fury, 65 yards of great offense. And just a little bit too much on that put intended for Fletcher. That's the first time today that Fury has turned it over in the red zone.
This has been a gritty game. Coming up to 5 minutes before the soft cap horn.
Sandy Jorgensen just came back in for Scandal on an injury sub. Matched up with Lauren Kanemaru.
White thought about chucking it deep, but thought better of it. Slings it to the side instead. Johnston keeps it alive. That's Jorgensen, now Payne. Payne's gonna send it deep. Looking for Alicia White. And White's got it. Tie game.
That throw right there is why Octavia Payne is one of the best women's players in the world. A phenomenal athlete in the first instance, but just to be able to unleash this majestic spinning backhand right on the money. That takes vision, and it takes tremendous skill. Nice, easy 55, 60-yard backhand.
Been tight in this one. 7 ties, 5 lead changes. Fury not only trying to win its 10th title, which would be an all-time women's record, but their 8th in the last 9 years.
4 of the 9 goals scored by White for Scandal. 4 of the 9 Scandal goals assisted by Opie. 3 times they've hooked up with each other for the score.
Alicia White's had a great game for Fury, for Scandal rather. As Fury's about to get it back.
Dariani, Pitt Caithley, Nazaroff, Snyder, Genevieve LaRoche, Cree Howard, Carolyn Finney.
Snyder with it now. Payne providing the pressure. Great catch by Dariani on a dive. Back to Snyder, a low throw, but Snyder handles it. Now it's Finney.
Nazarov keeps the disc alive with a tumble.
Maddox guarding Nazarov, who sends it back. Great possession here for Fury. Couple of close calls, and now one that they drop. Mishandled by Caithley. And
drop.
Scandal with a chance to take the lead back.
Second drop of the half for her.
Across the field they go. Immediately into San Francisco territory to Jurgensen. 2 minutes until the soft cap horn. They swing it out to the side, looking for the end zone, looking for Jurgensen. And DC Scandal has retaken the lead.
That's a superstar play. Jorgensen was not incredibly open, but she started to make her move. And the throw just put to space where only she'd be able to get it. Scandal trusts her 100% to make that play. Unquestionably, she was the MVP of the Final Four last year. Been pretty quiet in this game. She's had a great weekend. Sort of the secret's gotten out, and teams play her differently than perhaps they did in years past. Still able to do some damage and re-give Scandal the 1-point lead.
First time that Jorgensen has gotten in the end zone today. Under a minute until the soft cap. One thing we can say for sure, this game will not be decided to 15. Will be either 12 or 13, depending on who gets the next point. If Fury gets the next point to tie, it will be game to 12. If Scandal ends up getting the next point, it will be game to 13.
Alex Snyder still out there on offense. Nazarov gets a breather. Jorgensen out there, Finney, Chow, Dara Clancy, Maggie Rudin, along with Arlie Sang.
That's the horn of the soft cap. Again, game to 12 or 13, depending on who gets the next point. They'll play through this point and then add 2 to the highest score. Look at the defense from Payne all over. Arlie Sang. Pick was called. Hard cap clock begins to twirl. Backed up into her own end zone as this possession starts for Fury.
Only the second time this game that Ann Mercier has been on defense. She's matched up with Snyder in a turf throw. A
Rudin
great
shot
chance.
it right into the ground, and now Scandal with a chance to go up 2. Jurgensen makes the catch right on the edge of the sideline. For the vision upfield. And a great catch by Mercier to keep it alive. Payne almost had that one taken away.
Timeout.
DC Scandal stops play. In a position where they could take a 2-goal lead and set the soft cap at 13. Great battle in this women's championship.
Yeah, just one untimely mistake. Throw got away from Fury, and you could tell when Octavia Payne got the disc. Her eyes scanned the field looking for one person. She wanted number 37, Sandy Jorgensen.
Go back to our 1981 footage. Show you the game of Ultimate back in Southern California, 1981, Santa Barbara Condors.
This is at the Rose Bowl.
Shorts are a little higher then, but it looks pretty similar. Hammer throw. Again. A lot of fun to see those old clips. 1981.
That guy was there in 1981 too, I think.
Was he wearing that costume?
Yes, absolutely.
Quite a look.
Here we go. Mercier with the disc, marked by Snyder.
Mercier floats it to the outside where he finds
There's a call.
Alicia White. They may come back. Alex Snyder called for the foul. The stall count was apparently up.
It's a contested stall. Coming in on 8. She gets the reset and the quick dump.
Mercier gets it right back. Now Octavia Payne, who's had a great tournament, but not this time. Slapped away by Dara Clancy.
It's the Big D.
This one's high. Can it be tracked down?
Oh, what
Great
a catch.
Kayla Jorgensen. Now Snyder. This is a huge point these two teams are playing for. Soft cap has still not been set. It's going to be either 12 or 13, depending on who breaks through here. They send it upfield. A catch on the run by V.Y. Chow. And Chow with some misdirection, but the throw too far out of the reach of Maggie Rudin.
I can't believe Chow didn't put this on the money.
Directed traffic and everything.
Great bid by Rudin, but too much on the throw, and she was wide open.
Big miss there for Fury on what could have been a game-tying goal.
About 6 inches away from a 10-10 tie.
Heard Alex Kesquier say they have to fight for every yard. But they throw it deep this time, and right on the edge of the goal line, it's Alicia White. What a game she's had. That one to no one in particular. Sarah Ito couldn't find it.
This is turning into a pretty epic point. It's lasted about 8 minutes now. Soft cap will go on after this point wraps up. Will it be tied, game to 12, or will DC have a 2-point lead?
Look at Octavia Payne with the incredible layout D. She turned the burners on and made an unbelievable play. Finney might want a foul there, but that was just flat out incredible. Watch the burners go on.
Well, she did bump her, but
Crowd chanting
remarkable
she's
play.
just faster. They're right.
Observer rules no foul. You know, on the replay, OP, before she laid out, did give a little left shoulder bump to Finney. So you can see why Finney called the foul. I think the observer, like the rest of us, may have been seduced by that remarkable horizontal bid.
There should be some room for incidental contact, especially when both are playing the disc. Allison Maddox swings it to the sideline, gets it right back. Soft cap still has not been set. Horn blew 7.5 minutes ago. Jurgensen to give Scandal a 2-goal lead.
Fury had plenty of chances, but in the end, it's Jorgensen again. She was barely even cutting, but just put it to space and let Sandy go get it. She is super.
So now it's game to 13. And Scandal with the edge, up 11-9. Fury's got some work to do. Not so much time to do it. The hard cap will go on in 11.5 minutes. Once that goes on, the game ends on the next point. Unless it's tied. Saw some universe points yesterday.
Well, it's interesting. This basically becomes a must score for Fury. And if they do turn it, it's a must stop. So Alex Snyder, whose defense is not 100%, is not on the field here. Despite her reputation as one of the top throwers. Scandal's taking a timeout here. On this line for Fury, they still could change it.
If you're Scandal, you've got that timeout to burn. You might as well use it up, especially with the hard cap coming. Take a little time off that clock.
I think that this is more about resting their defensive stars. Opie, Sandy, O'Connor, Maddox, keeping them fresh, knowing that they're very close to another national title. For so long, the women's game dominated by the West Coast, the Pacific Northwest, although certainly Boston, Lady Godiva, a great champion for many, many years. Many thought that this would be Boston's year again in the women's division with Brute Squad, but the top seed ultimately falling short against a champion in Scandal. Some people like being on the camera and some people are just impervious to it. Oh, there she goes.
She heard you, challenging her. Alex Gesquier getting his team closer to a second straight national championship. And maybe officially ending Fury's reign.
Ryan, Fletcher, Dariani, and Romano, the downfield cutters. Out there with Howard, Casey, and Nazaroff. Payne on Nazaroff. They're very close. They were teammates in Columbia.
A hawk downfield. Can Dariani catch it? She cannot. But a foul is called back at the throw.
Uncontested foul back on the throw, I believe.
So we'll go back. Could have been a major turnover in this game, and Fury giving it back to Scandal. Already down 2, game to 13. Was knocked away by Jorgensen.
Foul on the throw.
Cree Howard will get it back. 8 minutes until the hard cap.
We'll see. This will be interesting if it goes to the observer, who is right on top of this. No contest.
For the Mavericks, he's new to the starting lineup. That was one of the big changes for Coach.
And that's why if
The momentum is changing, Joe.
Pull within 1 in the game to 13 for the title. Swung it over the middle and a great dive.
Joe, I know you're
To complement everything that he was. And so they looked around.
The game was on pause for about half a second, and then they realized that it's 11-9 in the second half in the finals, and now it's 11-10.
The goal for Fury goes to Trey Romano, but it won't count, at least not yet. It goes back to Cree Howard.
They called a travel on the throw. See, there's some space. See what kind of mark Sandy throws on her.
And there it is to Narayan as Fury gets a big one. This one's not over yet. Game to 13.
Nazaroff and Payne exchanged a hug after that point as well. Even in the most intensive moments on the biggest stage. Still having fun with a friend on the other team. Make no mistake though, both Nazaroff and Payne are great competitors. And they're not going to be thrilled about second place by any means. That was a huge score for a bunch of reasons. But certainly can't overlook the fact that we're about 6 minutes from the hard cap, and if it became 12-9 instead of 11-10, even a couple DC scores, they would have had to come quickly. So now the hard cap isn't all that much of a factor. Jorgensen's going to pull for Fury out there with Narayan and Casey. Duffy, Sang, Rudin.
Pull does land out of bounds, so DC Scandal will have good field position. Taking it from the brick mark, 5 minutes from the hard cap, needing to get to 13 to win their second straight national championship.
Gesquier going with basically just his typical O-line. Payne and Jurgensen on the sideline. Ito, McClellan, Daly downfield with Johnston, Mercier, O'Connor around the disc.
Alicia White's been the top goal scorer in this one for Scandal.
She's out there too.
McClellan's open on the near side of the field. Mercier not going there yet. You see the cup of defenders from Fury.
Interesting, throw a little zone look here. Fury hasn't shown too much of this over the course of the game.
Four defenders walled around Mercier.
One of the last big coaching decisions Maddie Sang is going to make at the highest level of the women's game. Although he has said he still hopes to be a part of some national teams, along with his middle school coaching and teaching.
Jesse O'Connor flips it ahead to Mercier. Back out to O'Connor. Pressured from the side by Fajardo.
Stoppage. There was a pick downfield. Ashley Daly was screaming feverishly to make sure that Mercier knew there was a call so she didn't unleash a throw to a teammate who was stopping her cut.
But at 12-10, the hard cap could still effectively end this game.
If they make it 12-10, then San Francisco's going to need to score quickly.
Only 3:10 away from that hard cap. Regardless of the score, the game would end on the very next point after the hard cap, unless that point ties it. In which case then they would play to a sudden death. Tiebreaker. As it stands now, if Scandal scores here and the hard cap goes off, the game would effectively be done. 11-10. Scandal taps it back in play with Mercier.
Every stoppage here, a friend to our nation's capital.
This very well could be the championship point for DC Scandal. Winners in 2013, they knocked off Fury, ending a 7-year reign of San Francisco titles. And a point here could show that it was certainly no fluke. Red zone chance for Scandal. A down player for Fury along the sideline. So it could be Alicia Dansker, can't quite tell yet. It is Dansker there. Kind of got shoved from behind. They did stop the clock for the hard cap at 90 seconds.
She looks like she's in a lot of pain.
Dansker might be down for a little while here as she is writhing in pain along the sideline. See that one more time, exactly what happened. As DC Scandal is on the verge of what could be a championship point for them. Dansker will be carried off here. We take another look. She stopped. That right ankle kind of went out from under her, and that's
right ankle, right knee, something twisted there.
Yep. See it right there, that ankle or knee, as you said, as she stopped her momentum along the sideline.
They've gotten her off the field. Cree Howard, Alden Fletcher, Lauren Kanemaru, all right next to her.
Now back into play as DC Scandals once again set up for a big point. But it's taken away. Maybe not. A foul was called as Fajardo and Payne collided. Hard cap count continues to run close to a minute.
Scandal, you guys want one?
And I think this is going to be no foul. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Fajardo certainly got there first.
So you have possession, yes.
So what's going to happen here is Scandal is going to have to play defense. Alex Snyder comes in for the injured Fajardo. And Snyder's going to have the disc. The clock's still ticking. San Francisco basically needs to score to force a universe point. If Scandal scores, they're the champs.
It's now a game to 12. Scandal up 1. And a turfed disc. That gives it back to Scandal with a chance to win.
There's the hard cap officially.
DC Scandal can put it away right here. Trying to win their second straight title. Octavia Payne near the goal line. Sends it back to Mercier. Mercier looking for the championship. And it's good. Well, the one observer ruled it was good. Now they'll talk about it. Now Alicia White on the goal line. Observers huddling up to determine if this is a catch and a score.
No. It's she's kind of just down.
I know you've
No, I think it's like up.
you've called it.
It's an up call, yeah.
What drama.
Alex made the call.
Championship possibly on the line here.
They can go to the observers. They're going to send it back. They're going to send it back. We're not done yet. Fury still 1D away from being right back in this. Was this up or down?
I don't know. Close.
I think that's the score.
Mercier trying to get it to Payne. She does on the side of the goal line. Payne looking for a championship. Back to Mercier, who has to dive to keep it alive.
That was a great catch by Anne Mercier.
Johnston breaks, fell short, dumps it in to Alicia White. And DC Scandal wins their second straight national championship.
Dutchie's team did it again. Mercier keeping the disc alive on the goal line. And Alicia Johnston able to flip it in. Her second championship in the club level. She's just 20 years old. Payne, Jurgensen and company do it again. And for Maddie Sang, his coaching career at the club level features 9 trips to the championship game, 7 finals, 7 championships, and 2 losses in the final game. Alika Johnston to Alicia White, and Scandal over Fury for the second straight year here in Frisco.
Our Discraft Ultra Star play of the game. En route to a championship here today for DC Scandal. Alicia White did a lot of work on offense today.
Yeah, you know, the offensive line for Scandal really played well at times. White and Daly and Ito and Maddox and Mercier. You know, we talk so much about Payne and Jurgensen. But the victorious head coach, Alex Guesquier, has a truly well-rounded team. And, you know, Fury's also concerned about the status of Alicia Dansker, who's getting on a cart. You can see on the left side of your screen with the entire Fury team surrounding her. They're hoping she's okay. And we'll be joined in just a minute, just a second, by the victorious head coach.
Alex Guesquier and coach, you did it last year against Fury. What does it mean, though, to beat them again in this championship round?
I don't know how to express that. That it means the world. It's such a long, hard process. It's so much work and effort, and, you know, hope and desire went into that. I can't express that.
You were jumping around pretty good after the game. What was going through your mind in the immediate aftermath of that second winning score you guys got?
God, I was so happy with that grit that we showed, the patience, everything about it. Like, I'm so proud of these girls. That was just inspiring to me. I don't know why you've got me out here. They did all the work. They're the heroes.
Well, you've done a great job as well, coaching Revolver a couple years ago, the U.S. World Games team, and now back-to-back national champs. And I know you've got a lot of positive things to say about Maddie Sang, who doesn't go out a winner on the field, but we all know how big of a winner he is.
I can't say enough about Maddie. He deserved this win. I would have loved if he won, but I tried as hard as I could to take it away from him.
What are you guys going to do tonight to celebrate?
I don't know.
You're a father now.
I can think about 10 seconds in the future right now, and they're really, really happy 10 seconds.
Go enjoy it and send Opie on over.
Thank you.
Alex Guesquier, the head coach of DC Scandal, back-to-back national championships as they beat Fury in an absolutely great battle here in this one. 12-10 ends up being the final score. As Octavia Payne, one of the top players in this game and in this tournament. Alicia White as well. White had a huge game today. And we hope to talk to Octavia Payne here in just a moment before she goes and collects a gold medal for this championship win. She said yesterday to us that she was hoping to play either one of these teams, San Francisco or Seattle, had friends on both sides, and she was just looking forward to the competition today, and what a competitive battle we saw. Octavia Payne, one of the leading handlers for DC Scandal, more than 20 assists in this tournament. At what point did you start to believe this championship for a second year in a row was a possibility?
When we caught that last goal. I think every step of the way you saw it. It was gritty. It was contested every step of the way. So we never at any point thought that we had it in the bag, and we knew that we had to come out fighting because that's what Fury does, right? And that's what makes a championship team. You never let up.
Wasn't the easiest season for you guys. You had your ups and downs, but you kept working. What was Dutchie's main message to you guys throughout this run?
I think the main message, I think he's probably said it to you also, is that we're on the right track and we're moving in the right direction, but we're not there. There's always another level that we can rise to, and that we have to stay hungry.
It's amazing to watch you and Anna out there laughing during the middle of points. What are you guys saying to each other in the heat of the moment?
I think even in the heat of the moment, when you're playing against the best players, you can't help but be awed. And Anna's a phenomenal player. She's one of my ultimate idols, so it's an honor to be able to match up against her every time. And I think we both really appreciate the aggression and how much we push each other. And at the end of the day, we play Ultimate to have fun, right?
A year and a day ago, I'm sure you were still wondering whether you could be a club champion. What does this personally mean to you that you've now won 2 in a row?
It means even more than the last one. The next championship is always the better one.
Opie, thanks. Go enjoy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
DC Scandal, a 12-10 win to beat Fury and win their second straight national championship. For Evan Lempler, I'm Wayne Randazzo. We say so long from Dr. Pinkfield in Frisco, Texas, where the final score, once again, DC Scandal wins another title, beating San Francisco Fury 12-10. Watch this game on replay. Log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. We thank you for watching. This has been a presentation of ESPN.